What's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of Nations United, and admittingly, I am pretty frustrated right now. I already recorded this episode. We made a couple trades, made the playoffs. I go to record the first playoff episode, and the save data app just disappeared. Just fucking disappeared. So we're here at the start of Season 3. In this episode, we will be resimming the entirety of Season 3. I won't exactly be making the same trades I made, but what I can tell you is we were barely a playoff team, and we would have played the 50-win St. Louis Blues in the first round, but that is no longer the case. But still, in an effort to get through, as I've been doing with this series, we're going to sim the entire the entire season in this episode, just to get to the playoffs, because like I said, with this series, the playoffs in the off-season are really where it's going to be because of the limited amount of options we have for trading. Of course, we do have some options. As I said, I made a trade. It may or may not have been for somebody currently on the screen right now. But regardless, this is the team, and we are going to be simming here probably to the AllStar Break. I think I'm going to go that far down the line, and we'll see what this team is looking like come January 22nd. Let's find out. 24, 19, and 4 as we hit the All-Star break. Probably on our best stretch of the season, winning 5 out of our last 6 games. Things are looking okay for us. Currently in third place, as usual. We have dealt with quite a few injuries, but as compared to the original go-round of the Season 3 sim, it's going okay. The big problem was the goaltending. The first time I went through, Godlewskis has a much better save percentage than he did before. Grubauer, who hasn't played that much, swear to God, was an 8.72 save percentage around this time through the first sim. So thank God the goaltending is doing better. Although there are goalies, and I'll just show you. It was Elvis Merzlikins from the Columbus Blue Jackets who we were looking at, and who we might end up potentially trading for eventually. I think that would be a pretty strong tandem, having Godlewskis and Merzlikins. Of course, Columbus also has Oliver Bjorkstrand, a player that we didn't take that we probably should have because he's already really good. But we ended up trading for him in the first sim. He's not doing too well this season. But there are certainly options as we approach the trade deadline if I feel like we need a little bit more in effort to make the playoffs, because I do want to make the playoffs this season. I want to make the playoffs every year, as we've seen in other series that we've done here. Once you make the playoffs, anything can happen. And right now, the Central Division is very, very weak. We have 8 points on the Blackhawks. Granted, they have 2 games in hand, but we still have 8 points on the Colorado Avalanche. So it's certainly our playoff spot to lose at this point. The Pacific is very good, and most likely both wildcard spots will go to that division. So we need to finish in a top 3 spot to really make sure that we're going to be a playoff team this season. And again, moving forward here, we will be going to the trade deadline on March 3rd, and we will see where this team stands. It could end up being a pretty quick episode without any trades. The final stretch, though, April 1st, these last 5 games, of course, if we're really in a close playoff battle, we'll show those off. But yeah, let's see where this team stands as we approach the trade deadline. 33, 23, and 7 the day before the trade deadline. That is what our record stands at. Much better than, of course, the original sim that I keep referencing. We are currently in third place. The tides have actually turned. The 2 wildcard spots currently held by Central Division teams. But things are looking pretty good for us. We've had, again, quite a few injuries. Matt Zuccarello has missed a lot of this season. But right now, we are currently, what is that? Basic math here. We're 5 points above the Blackhawks. They do have a game in hand, but things are looking pretty good. The Stars are pretty much running away with the division. But of course, if these wildcard spots belong to the Central Division, we have quite a bit of space to work with in case things start to decline. So right now, we could definitely make a trade to try and bring in somebody. Although someone like Bjorkstrand, that's a very high cost. We could bring in Merzlikins to shore up our goaltending. But as I said, Godlewskis has been okay. 922 save percentage is pretty much league average goaltending. and that's what we need out of him. And Grubauer isn't absolutely killing us. If you guys have watched any of my series, you know that our backup goalies can be a bit hit or miss from time to time. But things are looking good for this team moving forward. Again, Matt Zuccarello, only 32 games played thus far. But things are looking good for us, and I think we're just going to stand pat here. We have 19 games to go, and I think we'll just wait and see how this team does and if we're good enough to make the playoffs. Now, coming up sooner rather than later, within the next few seasons, we are going to start trading away some of our draft picks to get the really high-end talent from the nations and the nationalities that we have available. We'll start doing that a bit later. Of course, the goal was to use the first couple of drafts to actually build up a prospect pool and get the Iowa Wild into a fine-tuned machine that is just, spitting out prospects. And that will happen, probably not as quickly as it happened with Vancouver, but that'll happen eventually. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's sim the month of March, and I'll see you guys on April 1st as we get down to the final stretch to see if the Minnesota Wild are once again a playoff team. 43, 27, and 7, and now for the second consecutive year, the Minnesota Wild are indeed a playoff team. Leon Draisaitl actually our leading point getter, only 54 points. We're not the most offensively dynamic team, but we've been good enough to make the playoffs this year, and we have a chance to get home ice advantage over the Winnipeg Jets. I can't imagine the Jets will catch the Stars, who have been at the top of this division really since the season began. So the question is the seeding, but we are in the playoffs. We are good to go currently on 93 points with 5 games to go in this season. Right now, Kristers Gudlevskis is currently injured. Ludovic Weber actually played the last game and picked up the win, a very impressive game with 29 saves. Grubauer currently in goal. Gudlevskis should really only miss this next game against the Vancouver Canucks, and then we should be good to go here as we move into the playoffs. Of course, it is pretty much guaranteed again that it is the Winnipeg Jets. The question is the seeding. We get a shootout win over Vancouver, and that will lead us to this very, very important game against the Jets. Gudlevskis is back. We'll get him between the pipes for this next game, unless he isn't fully healthy, but he should be. He was due back on April 5th, and it will be April 4th when we play the Jets, so we should be good to go. Weber being sent down. Of course, not last season, but the original sim, he was actually, once again, the backup while Gudlevskis was struggling. We actually sent down Grubauer and just, left it open to him being claimed on waivers. We actually couldn't trade him. It was a very difficult time, but none of that is relevant now, and yes, I'm still very, very salty over that because despite the fact that this has been a better season, it's actually worked out much better for us instead of being in a situation where it's looking like we're guaranteed to get, just decimated by St. Louis. We've beaten Winnipeg, and more than likely will be the second seed team unless we really blow it in these last 3 games. We get a win over Colorado. We lose 6-1 to Dallas, so thank God we don't have to play them in the first round. But we have the chance to be a 47-win team this season. We have overtaken the Jets. I need to look at the point total really quick. We're 2 points above the Winnipeg Jets, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure we have that second seed locked up. Depending on the tiebreakers, we have less losses. We'd actually have even regulation plus overtime wins. I think we would be good to go here, and we'll have home ice advantage over Winnipeg in the first round. So a big-time turnaround for us last year, of course, just kind of sneaking into the playoffs. And this year, things went very, very well. 47 wins is confirmed. And now we just wait to see the confirmation of Winnipeg in the first round. There it is. Thurkauf is injured down in Iowa. Iowa should be making the playoffs as well. But once again, we are a playoff team. Unbelievably. I mean, I didn't expect it because our defense certainly isn't the strongest in terms of overall. We don't have that clearly, just offensive dynamo that puts up points. Our leading goal scorer, or our leading point scorer, was Niederreiter with 58 points. Our leading goal scorer might have been Draisaitl, and it was at 23. Our second best goal scorer was the rookie defenseman Colin Fontana with 18 goals. more than Kopitar. He had more goals. Think of that. An 81, starting off at an 81, now an 82 overall defenseman, had more goals than freaking Jannik Hansen, Niederreiter, Kevin Fiala, who, in fairness, had a pretty good season. But, man, just very, very surprising season. But I'm glad it's gone down the way it did. Schlapfer actually got to play quite a bit while Zuccarello was down. Didn't have the best point total in the world. But, yeah, overall, a very solid season for us. Godlevskis finishes with a .919 save percentage. That's a little bit concerning. Grubauer did okay in his limited appearances with a .929. So I'm definitely... I don't think we're going to get murdered. We'll take a look at Winnipeg in the next episode before we actually play them. I don't think we're going to get murdered. I think we have a shot. That said, we did lose to the fucking Canucks. We clearly had a better team then, as my iPod hits the floor. Clearly, we had a better team than them last year, and we lost. So who knows? They see Andre Pavlik a .929 save percentage. I would hope that we could beat that. But anyways, guys, that is it for this episode. Again, very condensed, as Tyler Seguin beat the 100-point mark. Holy shit. Very condensed episode. Again, having to re-record it. Pretty frustrating, but I am happy with the results, and now we will see what this team can do in the playoffs. So as always, I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike button. I mean, why not? Only if you watched it this far and you truly didn't like the episode, because you have earned it. You have earned that dislike. Aside from that, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already to continue following this series and, of course, the Islanders series and more as we get in to NHL 17 here in the near future. Anyways, guys, I am rambling again, as I tend to do to wrap up these episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
A week, or is it only a couple days?
Maybe it's a week, but they might extend it a bit more.
Rounded up by Alexei.
Early August, when we come on around.
Line to Irwin. Shoots one.
Oh, good try.
Away.
That was a weird save animation. Almost looked like it warped through his glove.
It kind of was, yeah.
Dave.
Oh, by the way, did you